Hi, my name is Lilia. We need to get more girls involved with the STEM fields in order to be equal participants in the future generation of innovators and leaders. I reached out to inspiring role models who are paving the way for women around the world to hear about what they had to say on closing the gender gap. You've had many successes. Can you share one that you are the most proud of?
I'm definitely proud of every success and accomplishment that I've had. Certainly, one of my goals that I set early in life was that I wanted to get my Ph.D. in biology and become an academic scientist at a university or a research institute. And so I'm doing that right now with my own lab at the Salk Institute. So I'm very proud of that accomplishment, but I'm also proud of every accomplishment that I've had along the way to get me to this point. And one that I'm most proud of was really, I think, the first accomplishment in this path, which was getting my bachelor's degree from UC Berkeley. And that's, I'm particularly proud of that moment because it was really, my dad told my sisters and I that we could do anything that we wanted. We just had to decide what it was we wanted to do, set the goal, and then just work hard to achieve that goal. And I do not come from an educated family. Both my parents are English as a second language. I'm first generation American on my dad's side. So really going to college was something out of the norm for my family. And so I decided early in high school that I wanted to be a biologist and I wanted to go to UC Berkeley and earn my bachelor's degree in molecular and cell biology. And so getting into Berkeley I can still remember what that felt like. And as an undergrad at Berkeley, it's very stressful, it's very demanding on undergrads. And it didn't make it any easier. I was commuting about 80 miles a day to get to school, to and from school, and I was working full time. So to get that degree and to graduate with a 4.0 was something I was very proud of and something that I still am proud of because I learned a lot about myself, and I think it was really the first time where I did realize that what my dad said was right, that I could do anything that I wanted. I just had to decide what that was and go for it. As a scientist, we are often told to define what your scientific niche is. And it's important to define your scientific niche because when you're doing research, you want to be able to make unique contributions to your field. And you really want to define what that niche is so you can really become the expert in that particular aspect of your field or create a new field that you can become an expert in. And so I definitely defined my scientific niche when I was a Ph.D. student at Stanford. I was in the lab of David Schneider, and we were studying host pathogen interactions and the immune response to infectious diseases. And I just through reading a lot of the literature and just thinking about our current understanding of how we fight infections, I realized that the current paradigm couldn't explain everything and that there were holes in our understanding for how we treat infectious diseases and how our bodies work to fight infectious diseases. And so when I realized that really defined what I wanted to do for my thesis project, and it really led me to discover that the way we think about how we fight infections isn't the whole story, that our bodies encode an entirely different defense system that we rely on to survive infectious diseases. And that was my moment where I defined my scientific niche, and it really set the tone for the path moving forward. I knew I wanted to continue pursuing this line of research and really becoming the expert in this in this field. And so it defined what I did during my postdoctoral studies, and it really lays the foundation for my research program that I have here at the Salk Institute. Now, it's not only a defining moment because it defined me scientifically, it was also a defining moment because you can imagine as a graduate student telling her field that what they were thinking and how they were viewing a particular problem wasn't the whole story, and that there's this whole other aspect we need to be investigating. And you can imagine I got a lot of pushback from that, and a lot of people told me I was wrong. But I learned that if I really believed in something, and if I really believed in my research, that I had to continue to stand for it and push it forward. And time has shown that I was right, and that what I am investigating is important, and other labs are now working on similar things and working in this field. So it not only defined my scientific niche, but it taught me to really have the courage to stand up for what I am investigating as well.
Can you say a few words on why young girls should go into science?
There's a lot I could say to young women that are entering STEM or already in STEM, but I think one of the things is you do not have to lose your identity and who you are to be a good scientist or doctor or engineer. I'm hoping that it's not the same now, but when I was growing up, I always heard female scientists have to be a certain way, they have to look a specific way, and they don't like makeup, they aren't blonde, they don't have long hair, they don't care about fashion or jewelry, and hey, I love science, but I am also a woman, and I am a woman who does love makeup and fashion and doing my hair, and I've seen all episodes of Gossip Girl multiple times, and I think it's a great show. And it doesn't take away from my ability to be a good scientist. And so you should, if you want to be a scientist, be a scientist. If you want to wear makeup, wear makeup. It's perfectly fine. You can excel at being a scientist, but be who you are in the process as well.